Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Align Plans. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. So today, what are we doing today? Today we're going to be talking about sort of what's happening with my A5 Notiq planner setup, my minimalist planner setup. I thought that I would kind of chat with you guys. I would kind of talk to you about what's been working, what's not working, and how we're sort of gearing up for next year, what's happening for next year. And I'm not really unraveling like my full 2023 lineup just yet. That will come in a separate video. For now, we're really specifically just focused on what's happening with this 6-ring binder and like what's happening with this minimalist planner setup. So if that sounds good, if you're curious to see like what's going on and what's the update on here, then just stay tuned and let's just dive right in. And of course, if this is the first time that we are meeting, well, hello, my name is Meshi and I am the person behind Align Plans, and I chat with you a couple of times a week on this channel. We talk about anything and everything minimalist planning. The idea with this channel is to not only accumulate all of these beautiful minimalist planning tools, but for us to use them in the most intentional way. And if that sounds good, then you should, stick around and hang out with me. All right, so what is going on with this planner setup? What is working? What is not working? So, as you may have already seen, I switched out of this binder at the beginning of the summer because honestly, I just found it to be quite bulky, as you can tell. Like, it's a pretty big planner, it's a pretty big setup, and I really love the color. I love everything about this. And however, I've been finding that it was just getting a little stagnant, and I wasn't really ready to buy like an actual leather cover and to make that investment. So I just wanted to just switch out and kind of reduce my stash a little bit over the summertime into the vinyl cover that I bought from Cloth and Paper. Most of my inserts are from Cloth and Paper, but the main inserts that I'm using in this planner is actually from Rosy Paper Tree. And so far, like for this year, it was absolutely working, and I thought that it was like the most perfect setup. However, right now in the past few months, I've been really struggling with this planner, mainly because I just find that every time I use it, it just kind of gives me overwhelm. It kind of gives me the opposite effect, the opposite emotion than the minimalist plan that it's supposed to kind of give you, which is, when I'm kind of thinking about minimalism, I kind of think of like clarity and less and quality. And it's not that this is not quality, but I've been finding it extremely overwhelming and kind of clustered. And partially I think it's also because I didn't take the time to set it up specifically, and I'm just finding it a little bit exhausting with just taking out the inserts, putting in new inserts, keep switching everything out. Like there's a sense of unsettling feeling that I get from this. But I'll just show you sort of how I switched everything out. So I have this morning mindset insert, which I still really like. Then we have like this overview, and this was the dashboard that came in the last box, which was the August box. I'll talk to you about the sub box in a moment. This also came in that same sub box. Then I have this Color Cafe little vellum that says grow. And then this whole monthly layout is a monthly and weekly layout. This was the insert that came in the sub box. So this is for the month of October. I have to say, this monthly layout as well as this overview is actually really functional. I really like this. I don't think that I'm really going to use the sidebar, but the monthly layout is lovely, and I really appreciate the fact that we have, I believe this has the moon cycles in there. It definitely has all the holidays printed in, which that in and of itself I already appreciate a lot. This I don't care for. I don't necessarily care for this. I feel pressured into filling this out when I don't really have much of a use for it. So sometimes I just put it in social media plans, but to me, I also have the spiral like full planner that I received in the December box from Cloth and Paper. So then it becomes just one of those things that's like, what's the point? right? And then we move into this next section. So this divider is also from Cloth and Paper. Then we have a dashboard. Then we have another dashboard because I really like this one. And then I have this little journaling prompt, which I really like. I thought that it was really cute, so I just added that in. I don't use this really for anything else other than, you know, sometimes I like to add like quick little reminders for the month. And then we move into the actual layout, which is something that you have seen. So this was in my last plan with me. If you haven't seen that, I will just leave that. I'll just link that in the cards. But it's really nice. But even when I'm using this, I'm kind of noticing that I want to switch between pens. Like I kind of have this, I don't know, like this unsettled feeling when I'm using this, even though I really like the layout. So I haven't actually filled out this week yet, but I will. But even here, I'm looking at 2 pages, and part of me wishes that I could just kind of see the whole week, and I don't necessarily need this much space for me to write what's happening for the week. So I don't know. And then we move into, I'm keep trying to make this monthly admin thing work so that I'm using it as my social media planner, and it's just not, for the life of me, it's not working. And I know I'm using it inappropriately, so it's totally on me. Same thing with this weekly. I tried to use this weekly schedule where I can use it as a social media planner, and unfortunately I just write too many things into it that it just ends up feeling really cluttered, so I end up ditching it. And then I added a few of these daily inserts that are just kind of blank in case I need it. And I added more of these weekly schedules in case I really wanted to give it a try again. I don't see myself using that weekly layout. It just feels really, I don't know, to me this feels so intimidating because it's like, I know that we can make this work where I could use, here's one tracker, or like here can be like priorities, quick reminders for the week. Then we can add like a little something, like this can be maybe a tracker here. So this kind of reminds me of a layout that you would receive from like a hobonichi cousin, and yet it's not it. Do you know what I mean? Like some of these inserts, they just feel so, like they just feel so congested for me. So I don't know. Can you tell I'm in a dilemma? Yes. And then we have some more dividers, make them look pretty. I really like these cute little trackers. Sometimes I end up using them, sometimes I totally forget. Then we have the cleaning schedule. I still really love this actually. I think that this is like very, very functional. And May Paper Co. This came in the May, or like the online orders insert. This actually came from the May Paper Co. It was actually back in May that I received this, and I found this to be like one of the most functional inserts that I have within this planner actually. And then what else do we have in here? Some more weekly admin, some ideas, brain dumping. I always kind of like to add these, the affirmation, free thoughts. So sometimes I like to really just use these up as well as the gratitude list. But even with the gratitude insert, part of me just kind of feels like a lot of these inserts that I have, they just end up being really, like I'm doubling up my work. You know what I mean? Because I already have like 2 journals. So then now I'm not going to add like another journal insert into my planner when I already have a separate outlet just for that. Some notes, because why not? And then some of these I actually leave in here because they're literally my brain dumping place. Oh good, I was looking for this. And then the very last section is all about finance. So I really love the finance insert. So it's not that, like, when we're looking at the whole planner, it's not that the planner is not functional. My issue right now is that based on how big this is and how I'm actually using it, I find that sometimes I double up my work. Or I just don't find that this is very portable for me to kind of take this with me as my on-to-go planner. And my other issue, I guess, is that I have the sub boxes from Cloth and Paper, and most of the things that come in the box are not being utilized. So that's sort of where I'm kind of thinking that going into the new year, I think I will actually sell this this entire setup actually. So I'm going to basically just archive everything that's here. Any of the dashboards that I'm not using, I will basically just sell. Same thing with the cover, kind of downsize a little bit and then invest. I'm potentially thinking of just getting a hobonichi cousin, because one of the main reasons, as much as I love the minimalist planning setup still, so I don't necessarily want to kind of give that up, but I feel like we need to kind of downsize this, where this is no longer going to be my main planner anymore going into 2023. And the reason why I think that is because one of my pet peeves that kind of just ticked me off is that every single month I keep having to take out the previous month's inserts and then add in the new month's insert. And honestly, just the fact that I can't keep a full year together in like one cohesive place, it kind of bothers me. Whereas when I'm using like my hobonichi weeks, it's all together. It's all in one place. I didn't realize that this was a thing for me until I did. And then I'm like, oh my God. And I also kind of feel like whenever I'm decorating this, I kind of feel bad for decorating it. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I just feel like, oh, don't add too much decor because then it's gonna get cluttered. So like I keep having like these flashbacks from when I had my planner set up from Erin Condren. And honestly, like when you needed like full sticker sheets just so that it gets decorated, I know that doesn't jive with me anymore. So, and then here, sometimes I kind of feel bad for even using any stickers. I don't know, like I have these battles with this. As much as I love it, like there's a lot of elements that I really love. Like I love like these extra little like stickies and like these little icons that you can put on there. And I love like the colored pens that I can use. But then there's parts of me that sometimes just feels like all I do in here is just kind of write in my schedule and that's it, you know? And then the other part is that honestly, like even with the pens, I've been gravitating more towards fountain pens more than I'm gravitating towards gel pens or even like markers. So sometimes like I even have like these dot markers and fine liners, and they are great, but I end up not using them here, at least not to a point that I would like to. So what I'm kind of thinking is to just kind of call it what it is, because if my true intention is to actually use it in the most functional way and actually use the things that I do have, then maybe the sub boxes that I've been receiving from Cloth and Paper are no longer in alignment with my system, with the way that I plan. And maybe I'm okay with just getting a sub box every 2 months. So I might actually just switch over to Maypaper Co. for the time being. I'm not sure if I'm going to completely get rid of the sub box from Cloth and Paper because I do enjoy it, but I also feel like a lot of the things that I receive from that box, I'm not utilizing. So maybe just order from them what I need when I need it type of thing, rather than just constantly be on that cycle of just keep receiving more for the sake of having the latest thing, you know? So it's this reflection that kind of have brought me to this idea of potentially trying out the hobonichi and see how that goes, because with both the little A6 techo, I've been pretty consistent with it. And I write quite a bit in it. And I feel inspired to write in it. And even though right now I'm using this as a journal, but at the same time, it's like, it's small enough and it feels functional enough that I can actually use this as a planner. But I do enjoy the larger layout, to be honest. I really love this because it's very small, very compact. I don't feel bad if I add a few little decor pieces. I don't feel that same kind of restriction that I have to decorate it. I can keep it fully functional if I want to. I keep it fairly minimal. and it just has a different vibe to it. And I don't know if it's the paper or the fact that I'm using a fountain pen. I don't know what it is. I can't quite put my finger on it, because I legit thought that this would be the system that would be the all-in-all and holy grail, and I can add all these fun things in there. And I see so many of you really truly enjoy your planner, and I'm just kind of looking at it eventually, then I'm like, eesh, like I'm never, like I have so many bundles of inserts, like the wellness insert, the book reading one that we just received recently. I think I didn't even use one page from there. And then at least like from the top of my head, the full finance bundle, I haven't used it. I literally just kept it in its original packaging because I knew that I already have a finance bundle in the back here. So I'm not going to add another finance bundle. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice. Like I think that all of these sub boxes are wonderful when you're just first starting out, because it really allows you to not only try out the brand, but then also kind of figure out like what sort of works with you and what works for your planning style. But I'm just finding that at this point, it's just becoming an accumulation of so much of things that I'm not actually using. And the moment that you stop using the things that you're receiving, then it's no longer fulfilling its purpose. You know what I mean? So that's sort of where we're at with this minimalist planner setup. I think that I'm going to downsize, potentially go down to maybe to this size. I really like the A6, and I see myself staying within the A6. Like this feels really nice to me with the minimalist planner. So maybe if I'm going to stick with the sub box, I'm going to just downsize and get a smaller cover and just change the inserts and see how that goes. I don't know. I'm playing around with the idea. I definitely like the idea of getting a sub box every 2 months from May Paper Co. That feels really good to me. So I don't know. And I'm also thinking that perhaps I will just, like, the main purpose of that smaller minimalist planner is just for me to have that outlet where I can literally just keep. I don't even know if I'm going to stick with this, but I definitely feel like there's a draw for me to stay with the minimalist planner setup. But I definitely feel torn because I just feel like I have so many of these inserts that are just not really being utilized for what they're meant for. And I know that partially the reason why is because it doesn't make me as happy and I don't utilize it nearly as much, and I'm just keep writing the same things in there all the time. So there's no aspects of memory keeping. There's no, I don't know. Like something is missing from this. And I also kind of hate the fact that I can't look back on a full year and kind of trace back and see how that day was. So there isn't that aspect of being able to look back. I don't know if you guys struggle with this. Maybe you can like comment in the comment section. Give me some tips of what you would do, because I feel like I really enjoy elements of this. I really like the clean and minimalistic look. But I'm also seeing that like just me not being able to have like the full year together, it kind of bugs me. But then I love being able to switch like dashboards out, sometimes switching inserts out. I love the decoration piece of it. So I really love the creativity piece of it. I'm just not liking how the system is set up right now. Hence why I would stick with it, but maybe just have it in a smaller format. Anyway, enough with the rambling. This is basically what I wanted to kind of let you guys know about. That's kind of why you're not going to be seeing too much as far as like plan with me's and things like that in this planner. I think I'm going to switch more over to the weeks, and once I actually get my hands on the cousin and at least test that out and see how that system works for me, then we'll kind of go with that. I think that you're still going to see plan with me's, but just allow me to like switch out from this larger size into a smaller size and a smaller compact size, and then see how things shift and change, because sometimes you need to switch it up. And I mean, after like having a system for about 2 years in place, then you kind of already know that, okay, this is sort of when things can get really redundant or they can get really stagnant. And for me, I know I need to sometimes make some changes so that it keeps it interesting. This is all I have for you. This is all I wanted to tell you. If you have recommendations, comment below and let me know. And first of all, I should have told you this at the beginning of the video. I hope that you grabbed your beverage and you were okay with like hanging out with me today. I wanted to make this a little bit more chatty and kind of show you what's happening within the A6 or A5 planner and why I'm kind of struggling with it. But anyway, this is all I got for you. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe, do all the things. You already know this. And just keep planning, you guys. And I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye.